Now, here we have one camera, two blokes, and two motorcycles that seem to enjoy humiliating their riders in different ways. My mate's taken my old Suzuki SV650, the dependable X that never texts back, while I've borrowed something a bit more exotic, his Trident 660. Think of it as Britain's polite way of saying, you don't really need a street triple, do you? At first glance, the Trident doesn't scream power, or speed, or even midlife crisis. It just sort of exists. Clean lines, neat paint, and nothing that makes you embarrassed to park it outside a Tesco. But what makes this bike interesting is what's hiding in the engine. 3 cylinders. Not 2 like the SV, and not 4 like your mate Dave's 97 CBR that he swears is a classic. No, this is a triple. Which means for a first time rider of one such as myself, it feels like riding halfway between a thumpy V-twin and a screamy 4. You get torque down low, revs up high, and the soundtrack of a chainsaw politely clearing its throat. Unfortunately, you won't be able to hear that in this video, as my friend still has the stock exhaust on. The 660 triple makes about 80 horsepower. Not terrifying, not disappointing, just enough to get you into trouble without actually impressing anyone. Perfect for Britain, really. Below 4,000 RPM it's smooth, easy, and almost apologetic. Like it doesn't want to wake up the neighbours, but twist the throttle a little harder and it starts to growl, reminding you this is still a Triumph. The handling. Light, flickable, almost like it's reading your mind, which is slightly worrying if, like me, most of your thoughts involve coffee and avoiding work. It's not a featherweight, 190 kilos dry, but the balance is forgiving. You wonder why you ever struggled with U-turns. The suspension's basic, but not insulting, and the brakes, well, they're Nissan, which means they'll stop you, eventually, providing you ask nicely. Now you do get some creature comforts. The toys, ride modes, traction control, and of course ABS. All the things motorcyclists once mocked but now cling to like comfort blankets. The dash is minimal, neat, and won't blind you at night like a budget Christmas tree. No cruise control though, so if you were planning a cross-continental trip, maybe invest in a wrist brace. Now, who actually rides a Trident 660? Well, usually it's one of 3 people. First, you have the new rider who just passed their tests, still smelling faintly of DAS instructors and of reflective bibs, and wants something stylish but not terrifying. Second, the commuter with taste. The sort who wears decent leather gloves to work, even if their job involves spreadsheets and slowly dying inside. And third, the ex-SV650 owner. Desperate to prove they've matured, but still cheap enough to buy something that won't collapse under the weight of its own maintenance bills. In short, the Trident's a bike for sensible people, which makes it rather suspicious. Riding alongside the SV, the differences are pretty clear. The Suzuki's V-twin gives you that instant shove, a bit more grunt down low, and a soundtrack that's pure farm machinery in the best way possible. It feels mechanical, raw, like it's actually alive. The Trident, on the other hand, is smoother, a little bit more refined in that regards, and eager to rev higher. It's less of a punch, more of a build, which in most situations is not really a problem. The SV's charms in its simplicity and proven reliability, and the Trident is in its modern polish and the triple's character. Neither bike feels better or worse, just different flavours. One's a pint of bitter at your local, and the other's a well-made gin and tonic. Both hit the spot, just depends on your mood. Is the Triumph Trident 660 any good? Yes, it's not insane. It won't make you cry, and it certainly won't empty your wallet the way the bigger Triumphs will. But as a first step into triples or into bikes that feel a little more refined, it's bloody fantastic. It takes the best bits of twins and 4s, blends them into something you can actually live with, and still manages to look cool. It's the perfect getaway drug. Just don't expect to stop at one. I'll leave you with this footage. A lovely, legal cruise down the UK countryside. Enjoy.